In last night 3-2 loss to the Marlins, there was a critical play where the Marlins were able to score a run, and it came in a first and third situation. And I want to talk about some pre-pitch communication that normally takes place in a first and third situation where the double play is in order. The third baseman will normally communicate with the catcher and let the catcher know, if this ball brings me toward home plate and I can't turn a double play, I'm going to give the ball to you. If this ball takes me to my backhand where I can't turn a double play, I'm going to give the ball to you. So when you look at last night's play, and we're going to roll the tape so that we can break this down here, you get a ground ball to Anthony Rendon, which takes him to his backhand. At that moment, he takes a peek at home plate. Suzuki is holding the plate at the time, in which it doesn't give Rendon a lane to throw the ball to. But when you look at this situation, obviously you have the base runner come in and he's borne down on the catcher. If Suzuki was to make himself available by moving into the field of play, Rendon instinctively may just give him the ball, and now in essence it turns it into a rundown. And if we're able to execute that rundown, we get the out between third and home, and now it's first and second, and we get to continue to move on. That didn't happen. We threw the ball to first base. Ron Zimmerman was not covering the bag. It cost us the run. We end up losing the game 3-2. That is a very instinctive play, but one that actually could have been avoided had Suzuki stepped into the field of play and Rendon instinctively gave the ball up to him.
Boy, I like that music. Can we keep that playing just kind of in the background of this entire segment? We're going to play rounding third again here with Bo Porter, our former Major League manager, but also our former Major League third base coach. So, Bo, we're going to tee you up with a few topics here, and you're going to give us either the green light, you're going to wave us in on this topic, or you're going to give us the red light, and you're going to say that you don't like this so much. So let's start with sacrifice bunts, giving up and out at the Major League level to move a runner. Are you giving us the red light on this or the green light?
This is a red light for me, and this is a debatable topic when you start to think about trading an out for a base. But in Major League Baseball, outs are hard to come by, and when you look at the run probability, it's almost like you have a runner at first base with nobody out, and you're going to advance that guy to second base. You're going to give up the out. The run probability there, you're only giving yourself a 2.6% chance of scoring a run. Whereas for me, the goal is more so to get to third base with no outs or with less than 2 outs. Unless that batter in which it's being asked to bunt has less than a 2.6% chance of getting a hit, I'm either going to hit and run, I'm going to put that runner in motion, I'm going to make the defense defend the ball rather than having a sacrifice bunt, which turns into an out 96% of the time.
Yeah, a lot of good things can happen when you put the ball in play. Maybe you gain a couple bases, maybe you gain a run without even needing to give that run up. Okay, so red light there. Bo, let's move on to our next topic. We've seen this around Major League Baseball a bunch over the last handful of years, hitting the pitcher 8th in the batting order in the National League. Where do you stand on that? Red light, green light?
This is a red light for me as well, because again, when you think about your batting lineup and just composing your lineup, I want to have my better hitters hitting as close to the top of the lineup as possible. And even when I start to think about sacrifice bunting the pitcher, if that's something that I so choose to do, I want to do it to a point where I have arguably my 2 best hitters coming behind that play, which would be the guys that are hitting 1 and 2 in the lineup.
Okay. So we're giving back-to-back red lights there, but let's tee you up with one that I think you might go green light on. Let's see. This is signing young players at the Major League level to extension. A contract extension, controllable players. This is something, again, we've seen a bunch of over the last couple years. The Braves just did it twice within the last month or so. Ronald Acuna and Ozzie Albies. The White Sox locked up Jimenez. The Phillies last year with Kingery. And sometimes these deals work out for the team, sometimes they don't. The Astros did it with Singleton a few years back. He was very new to the Major League level, signed him to an extension. His career didn't pan out. So where do you stand on this extending young players at the Major League level?
This is a green light for me, and the reason being is when you have these young, talented players, you look at a player's career, and normally their most productive years is going to be between the ages of 22 and 29 years old. So as a team, if you can lock up those years and you can get the player at a reduced rate and they perform, you're talking about basically advantage team. But more importantly, when you start to look at free agency in baseball, whenever a player plays for 6 years or more and they hit free agency, you as the team that is going out and buying that player, you're going to overpay because they're being paid for what it is they've already done.
As compared to what they might do.
As compared to what they might do. Whereas if you're able to, one, control your young players, I believe it allows organizations to have more flexibility. If those players do perform, now you're ready, your core is set, you have them locked up, and you have payroll flexibility to go out and do what you feel you need to do to put your organization over the top to play for a championship.